I talk all the time about the seat, seat. You know, and anything you hear from Charles de Comfy is also the importance of the seat. I'm sure from your trainer at home, you hear, you've got to get a better seat, you know. And so I want to just have a quick little chat about what is the seat. So a lot of times we talk about, you know, our seat bones in the saddle, and of course that's part of the communication tool because that's, of course, you know, what we're sitting on. But when we talk about what makes up the seat in total, it's everything from your kneecap all the way up to the top of your head. And so I'm sure you've seen some trainers, you know, we're like really busy, concentrating, you know, staring at the mane, and because we ride too much maybe on our own, or we don't have a mirror, or whatever. And that 8 pounds of your head is also part of your seat. And so many times we talk about being able to put your head, you know, I used to have a bad habit. I mean, I used to have a lot of bad habits. But one of my bad habits was being able to like stick my chin out. Like, I don't even know where that came from. But anyway, I did that. So I would imagine being able to like push my chin to put my head back onto the top of my seat, as if my spine was a pencil and I wanted to put the marble of my head on top of that pencil. It's amazing what happens then to the rider's torso to be able to stretch up tall. But going back to what makes all the seat, I think there is a huge amount of riding that we have access to when we think about the seat being our weight aid. For me personally, my seat probably makes up 60 to 70% of all my aids. My legs are probably 20 to 30%, you know, depending on the moment, and my hands are a very small amount, maybe 5 to 10%. Of course, the hands need to be able to be educated as well because, you know, I always say hands aren't incorrect. You know, using the hands isn't incorrect. Using the hands incorrectly is incorrect. So the hands need a big education as well. But when I talk about the seat, there's a couple things I want you to imagine. For many, many years, as long as I can remember, I've always told my riders that you should think of the torso as one big giant pelvis. And what I mean by that is that the upper body can be sort of the wings of the pelvis. And then, Tanner, you're blocking the view. And then you've got these two little forearms that come out of your hips. I call it the T-Rex arms, so that the horse never feels that he can pull our arms forward and lighten our seat and get the reins out of our hands. I'll talk more about that, I'm sure, in another video about proper connection and contact. But there's a feeling of being able to be one big giant pelvis, deep and integrated into the horse's back and motion, and then just have these hands that sort of come out the front as if someone even tied my arm into my belt. Okay, for sure, don't ever do that. But the idea that your upper arm is part of 3 spines. The right spine, my actual spine, my left spine. And so that the horse feels the stability of my cabinetry of my body and knows exactly where I'm at. When I am extremely balanced and stable, he has a fighting chance to be stable and soft and balanced himself. When we talk about, you know, being able to sit in the saddle, I have some funny stories about that I will share in another video called the AR, but that's for another time. And all of you Team Taters out there know what I'm talking about, but a separate video. Anyway, I want you to always think about being able to stretch yourself up tall, slide your shoulder blades down into the back of your seat, and be able to lift through your chest to expand your diaphragm, open your heart, and be ready to have a great relationship with your horse that day. So when I think about my torso, I want to think about it in a very squared up way. I like to imagine that there's like, I mean, maybe a whip or a ruler or something that goes between both of my ears, onto both of my shoulders, both of my elbows, both of my hip bones, both of my seat bones, my knees, and my ankles. So we got to make sure that one of these isn't cocked up and that they intersect. They should all be in a very level, as if you were hanging a picture on the wall with that leveler. You know, we don't want it to be, you know, cocked like this and one ear up, because everything in our body, everything in our seat relates information to the horse. And what our biggest goal is for ambidexterity, even bending of both, you know, positions of the horse and equal weight loading of each hind leg. And so it's going to be unfair for us to ask our horses and complain to our trainer, well, he won't bend right, when we're, you know, riding around like this because this old injury we had in high school while we were skiing down the hill. You know, we've got our own bodies and our own issues, and we've got to know that, and so that we can come in the most neutral, balanced, organized way to the horse, with this idea of not only am I square through my shoulders and into my seat bones, but these lines, ears, shoulders, elbows, hips, seat bones, knees, and ankles. Because also what happens in the ankle can be related to what's going on in the hips. So sometimes we have to pay attention to the ankle because sometimes one is higher than the other. And so we want to really make sure we're very squared up. We hold our own selves up in our own self-carriage. And I want to ask that you guys ask yourselves, when you are like, does my horse have Grand Prix potential? I want you to think about it also. Do I, as a rider, do I have Grand Prix potential? And of course, we all do, just like all horses. But it's a matter of awareness, practice, discipline, and concentration. So I hope this is helpful to get an idea of what we think about and what we mean when we say the seat. And so I hope you make it a great day and have a great ride. Thanks for joining.